Welcome. Hi Kasha, hi Carol, hi Brittany, hi Paula, hi Jackie, hi Catherine. So just welcoming you in with some sound this evening. And this is an air element Super 7 bowl. And I just felt that she was perfect because we are coming into a Gemini super full moon, or full supermoon should I say, and an eclipse moon. So this is such powerful time. Hi Hala, hi Alison. So, gosh, yes, intense times, aren't they? I wonder how you're all faring through this. This last week, it just has been an absolute doozy. Just intense and really feels that it's been preparing us to enter into this eclipse window of the full lunar eclipse that is on tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So I'm ahead of the game this week, and I think because of the way that the energies have been this week, I've really felt that it would be prudent, shall I say, to actually come on and do this reading ahead of the absolute eclipse. It's really felt super intense this particular time, and obviously, you know, each full and new moon and these eclipses have a different effect on each and every one of us. But I think within the collective there has been, you know, a degree of exhaustion of what's been working its way through the collective. And I mean, there is so much polarization, there is so much uncertainty each step of the way, that for each and every one of us there is a challenge perspective depending on what our experience has been and our journey through this last year. And I really feel that this last year has been a deepening process for each of us in a unique way, depending on what it is that's been our soul's evolutionary calling and what it is that we've come here to master from a soul perspective. So with this full supermoon, this lunar eclipse, there is a real sense that we've come to another culmination. Hi, Andy. There is this opportunity for us to actually, in a certain aspect of our lives, say this far and no further. When we can be consciously aware of some of the patterns that perhaps that we've still got running, or that are still coming up in some form or another for us to have a look at. There comes a point when we have a conscious choice as to whether we continue on that particular timeline, or whether we choose to say, this is not on my timeline any further. I am visioning a different future. I'm visioning a different pathway forward. And interesting, I don't often share much for sort of personal, but today I actually had the results of a test that I'd had for a health issue, and it's come back negative. So you know, today has felt really quite a special day for me in getting an all clear on a health issue. So, you know, these are powerful points for us in navigating our own individual experience and our own individual journey at this point. And what is it that this year, this past year, has shown us about ourselves and our journey, and what lights us up, what's still calling us forward, what's still resonating for us, and that we can feel from a heart perspective has a way of expanding our energy field. With any of my work, whether it's been working in the beautiful groups that I've been blessed to facilitate, or the classes, or my one-to-one client consultations, or my consultations with people with their spaces, there is always this question around the soul's evolutionary path and what it is that we came to master, what it is that we came to experience right from from our first breath, and the place that we were born into, the family that we birthed into, all of these experiences that we've had that have come up on the frame of our lives, on the screen of our lives, have been a mirror for us if we've been prepared to look at them, either from an exact experience or from symbolic side, in understanding that this is a journey home. This is a journey home to self. It's a journey home to love. And ultimately, love is all there is. Some of you will have seen the mandala that I posted this week, that I was very guided to create at the beginning of the week. And the way it set itself up, it's mostly white and gold, but the way it set up was that there were two of the roses that came in as gatekeepers, and that was forgiveness and compassion. And they come as such very clear reminders that forgiveness has two aspects to it. There's an intellectual aspect to forgiveness, but there is also a heart aspect to forgiveness. And when we open our hearts and we forgive from our hearts, knowing that everybody has a journey, everybody has a story, and that patterns run deep. When we can come to this place of forgiveness, of course, the heart opens at another level. And when we open ourselves to compassion, whether that's forgiveness for ourselves, actually, because, all of us have made choices and taken pathways that perhaps we, in hindsight, wouldn't have necessarily entered so readily. But when we come to this place of compassion for self and forgiveness, we open a gateway to enter into the golden heart, into the golden heart field, and activate the golden light body. This enables us to frequency at the highest, from the highest perspective that we came here to hold. And there is a sense for me that what we're doing is we are opening out to the divine, to divine guidance. And from that perspective, we then are able to give. We are able to give from our wisdom of our intuitive guidance, and from the gifts that we actually came here to master. We cannot take anybody anywhere we haven't been. And that's always been my excuse for having had quite a colourful journey. And having got myself into some very strange and questionable situations. And, it is in the mastery, in the understanding of what is the attractor factor, what brings us into resonance with certain situations or certain people, that enables us to see perhaps the fullness of our journey. And of course, as I say, you cannot take anybody anywhere you haven't been. So in the frequency field that we hold through our wisdom, through our experience, through having navigated some of these more tricky currents or tricky waters. We hold a depth and we hold a sense of presence where we can be present and fully witness and be fully present to another, which is the greatest gift that we can offer one another, is to bring our full presence to bear in the listening and the opening to another's story and another's journey. So what else did I have to share of this? I mean, it is such a fast-changing time, and I've really felt in the last 24 hours, actually, that grounding is and anchoring, keeping ourselves actually embodied, has been somewhat of a challenge. I mean, several people I've spoken with today have said that, you know, that actually they have felt very sort of spacey and out of it, and have had to be really conscious about fully connecting in. Hi Lisa, hi Danielle, hi Christine. So yeah, powerful times, and so much about truth, really diving deep within, being fully present to ourselves, and being able to connect in to the deepest part in us that actually absolutely knows our deepest truth, because this is what we're being called to walk. This is what we are being taught to and shown to really anchor, because that's the gift that we brought with us. That's what we brought to share. And if nothing else, this last year, all of us have had to dive deep. And from that, we've found qualities within us that perhaps we didn't know were there. And we've had to hone our craft. We've had to really work hard to keep ourselves centered and to really tune in to what matters. What is the non-negotiable now? What absolutely do you know that you came here to Wayshow and to shine a light on the path of? And also to say that the power of community, the power of the gatherings that I've been very blessed to be part of, help us to feel connected into community, which is absolutely going to be essential in the navigation of the pathway going forward. There is no new normal that is formed yet. We are the people, we are the ones who are forming the new normal. And that has got to come from our hearts. It's got to come from caring for the land, caring for the earth, caring for each other. There is a real reconfiguring, a recalibration that is going on, I feel, within the consciousness of humanity. And this may be the gift that's coming from the darkest of the times. So let's see what the roses have got to offer us as wisdom and guidance for this period, particularly through from this full supermoon to lunar eclipse to the new, there's another supermoon as well, the new solar eclipse, which is, I think, about the 10th of June. So let's see what they have to say. So the first rose that's come forward is Rose Angel 9. And those of you that follow the rose path will know that the rose angels are 11 roses that work with the wounds to love, the wounds of abandonment, betrayal, denial, judgment, and and separation. And the salve is self-love, self-value, self-esteem, trust, truth, forgiveness, and surrender. And this rose, Rose Angel 9, she sits in the base chakra, and she sits as the way shower of the wound of abandonment. And she brings us the salve of self-love, self-value, and self-esteem. So you might want to just take a moment, and perhaps I invite you to put a hand on your higher heart chakra, where your thymus gland is, just sort of like there, where we instinctively put our hands. And so just breathe her in and invite her in to bring you in and breathe in self-love, self-value, and self-esteem. I am enough. And as you breathe that in, feel that really resonating through your body. And on the out breath, breathe out any places where you may have any sense of abandoning yourself. It's not even about where you might experience or still have a resonance to the wound, the heart wound of abandonment. But I'm inviting you on the out breath to let go of all of the places where you have abandoned yourself. This is the time to affirm on the in breath self-love, self-value, and self-esteem. This is the very foundation of any work that we do, and any work that I do with the roses, actually. This is why the Rose Angels in the Rose Oracle are the pivotal set, because if we've still got anything running around these 5 wounds to love, they will be still active in our field. So this rose is calling us to self-love, self-value, self-esteem, honouring ourselves and rising from that foundation. It brings a very strong sense of self into the base second chakra, into that foundational place in the body. It's interesting. Obviously the rose reading is going in a very slightly different direction this evening. So let's see what the second rose might be that is going to work alongside Rose Angel 9 this evening. The roses are a healing pathway. They're healing for the heart. They're healing for the body at a cellular level. So what's the second rose that wants to come forward this evening? Rose 9. So it's the second 9, okay? So Rose 9 from the original rose set sits in the solar plexus chakra, in the rose healing grid, the healing grid that works on the physical body. So this rose calls us to owning our power. She calls us to be clear. This is not a fluffy rose. She's very, very clear, actually very wise. You'll see, if I bring her close, that her outer petals are quite textured. There is a richness to her knowledge. There is a richness to the wisdom, the whispered wisdom that this rose can offer. And yet she has such clarity, such strength in her form. And when I'm working with her on the body, she actually sits on the solar plexus. She's super strong. She called herself the Sekhmet of roses. Don't mess with me. I have good boundaries. I know who I am. I am strong and I am aligned. So I invite you once again to just perhaps place your left hand on your higher heart and just breathe in the frequency of Rose 9 and feel that solar energy onto your solar plexus. This is the center of personal will. We can get all the divine downloads that we might like, but if there is any wavering on the solar plexus, it is much more difficult for us to take action on anything that may be given to us as divine guidance. This rose really calls us to be love in action. And we need to take that action from a solar plexus that is sound. And the solar plexus holds the heart wound of betrayal. So this is where we could betray ourselves, or we could not trust our gut wisdom. And so the solar plexus is the place of really trusting our intuition, our inner tutor, our inner wisdom to take right action. So she is a beautiful ally in this coming time, and for this super moon, calling us to anchor in with self-love, self-value, self-esteem, but also with absolute clarity of intention and trusting our gut wisdom. This is super, super clear. And let's see what the third energy, what the third rose is that wants to come to us and offer us wise guidance this evening. And we have Rose Angel 8. I need to put glasses on to see the numbers. Rose Angel 8. And this rose, again, another one of the Rose Angels. So these are the really clear messages that are coming through for this reading. So she sits on the solar plexus, and she is all about this heart wound of betrayal and this calling to absolutely trust what our body is telling us, what the messages are from the solar plexus. And what is really interesting around the solar plexus is if we contract in any way with perhaps somebody's words, for instance, or fear comes up around something. As the solar plexus contracts, so the heart contracts. The solar plexus holds a beautiful vessel for the radiance of the heart. And so if there is any contraction on the solar plexus, the heart automatically contracts as well. So there's a very, very strong message with these three roses this evening that is really calling us to stay very grounded and very anchored in the body, and to know you are enough, and to mantra, if you like, self-love, self-value, self-esteem. You know, is there anywhere in this coming week that you could find a new way of self-care, for instance? We can't give from an empty cup. So, and many of us have been absolutely frazzled by this last year. is there anywhere that you can find either time for yourself, or to have some body work or massage or some kind of self-care? Maybe even just a walk on the beach. The weather is due to, certainly here in the UK, has been super grim for weeks, and it's actually due to get brighter and warmer in these coming days. Thank you, universe. You know, is there anywhere that you can go and sit under a tree? Is there anywhere that you can go and just recalibrate? Need this time so that we can regroup. Rose 9. This trusting your gut wisdom, not second guessing yourself, but absolutely listening. When your solar plexus contracts, or you feel nausea, or you feel very uncomfortable about something, take time out to listen to it. Even if you need to go and, you know, take yourself to the loo, or take, you know, to the restroom, wherever you want to go, and just say, you know, or just give me a moment to think about that. You know, this is not about acting hurriedly. This is about absolutely connecting and trusting your gut wisdom, knowing absolutely what your right response is to any circumstance. And this Rose Angel 8 is actually validating that. She is saying, you know, this heart wound of betrayal, where we might have experienced betrayal by another, if we track back to the time just prior to the experience of betrayal, we absolutely knew something was off. We just chose not to listen. So, you know, our bodies are our wisdom teachers. This beautiful alchemical vessel that we're journeying in tells us everything that we need to know. Everywhere where we need to pay attention, there will be a contraction in the field somewhere or other that is calling for our attention. So these two areas of abandonment and betrayal are the two key wounds that we're being invited to explore and to be super clear about, and then to move to power. This is a powerful rose. So it's a very, very clear reading, and this is about moving us into our mastery. This is about moving us into our zone of genius. When we're rising from a firm foundation, a solid foundation in self, of self-esteem, of self-value, honouring self, then we rise to that solar plexus, and from there we breathe in trust. I absolutely trust my innate wisdom. And from that, this golden rose of mastery that sits on the front solar plexus gives the strength and the clarity of the resource. So there we are. We've got some clear guidance for the whole of this piece, and it's just really beautiful. Oh, I'm so pleased. There's some really lovely comments. So I'm really delighted that actually that's landed. And this is our air element, F note, so it's a heart bowl. So it's a Super 7 androgynous indium alchemy bowl. And when you work with the roses, and if you can just bear in mind this, the frequency of the roses that have come up in the reading, they anchor in beautifully with the alchemy bowls. And the little air element koshi chimes. So breathe in self-love, self-value, self-esteem, and breathe out abandonment and any residue that you may have that resonates with that frequency. And breathe in deep trust and let go of any places where there may be a storyline of betrayal. And just remind yourself, not on my timeline. Thank you for joining me. And I'm wishing you a powerful, powerful journey through this full supermoon. And yeah, let's see where this piece takes us, and the weave that takes us into this next 2 weeks. And you know, just remember, we're all on a journey home, and it's home to the heart and home to this deep wisdom that we have within us, and the light that we're here to shine on this path. With love and rosy blessings. Bye for now. Bye-bye.